Hey everybody, it's Craig back with another Mortgage Minute, and I'm pumped today because I'm here with my good friend Michelle George with Chamberlain Realty. Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Craig, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, so before I hit record right now, she and I were just talking about just some industry things in general, and we're talking about how hot the market is. And listen, it is a hot market, right? I mean, I think everyone would agree with that. But she made a really kind of important comment, which she said, it's easy to get a contract right now, but you want to make sure it actually closes. And I thought, that's interesting. So, what are some issues that could potentially come up? Let's think if we're in the shoes of a seller right now. Obviously it's easy to get a contract, but what are some things that could cause problems with closing that maybe sellers don't realize are potentially coming down the road?
I think from where I sit on the contract side with the seller is that whenever my seller accepts a contract, I want to know who that lender is.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that we're going to get to the closing table on time. I want to make sure that that appraisal is getting ordered on time. When you set that closing date, and I tell lenders this often, ones that I don't work with very often, is that closing date is not a request.
Right.
It's a contractual thing between a seller and a buyer. The buyer says, I can close this deal on May the 30th. I'm going to that lender. Are you going to get us closed by May the 30th? If you foresee this to be a problem, let us know now. A
Right.
lot of times sellers will accept these contracts because it may be a great offer price, or it may be no contingencies. There may be a lot of things. But if there is going to be a financing contingency and there's a lender involved, you have to take into that consideration. And I want to be able to reach out to the buyer's lender and say, hey, are they good to go? Or have you got the appraisal ordered? I want that clear line of communication. Craig, as well as I do, when you don't make it to the closing table on time, my seller has potentially put an offer in on another house.
Right.
But we got to sell this house. So then the house that I'm buying, that person's put an offer in on another house. So it's a domino effect. If
Right.
one lender messes up or doesn't get us to the closing table on time, everybody falls back. And some lenders who advertise very often on television that aren't local to Tennessee make a lot of promises that they can't keep. So whenever my sellers get a contract, I'm advising them, let's make sure that we have a good local lender that we can work with.
No, listen, that's I think that's an important point. And here's the thing. And trust me, because I see it all the time on my side being a lender. Realtors do look at that. Okay. I want you to hear me, buyers. And so I'm going to talk to buyers for a second. The realtors on the other end of that contract, they do look at the lender that you're working with. And if they feel like the lender you're working with won't come to the table on time, they will make sure their seller knows that. And look, at the end of the day, it's their client's decision on which offers they accept. But sellers are not realtors. Sellers are going to listen to their realtor. So if their realtor is saying, hey, look, I know it looks like a good deal, but I'm questioning whether it's going to close or not, a lot of times your offer is not going to get accepted. Am I wrong in saying that? I mean, I'm not stepping out on that, am I?
No, you're absolutely right about that. And I say this all the time. Sometimes realtors are expected to be attorneys, home inspectors, graphic designers, creative writers, photographers, and a lot of times lenders. And so I want to
Hey, don't forget marriage counselor too.
Okay, well, hey, yeah, we're there a lot. But to me, the biggest part of that contract is the lender, whether I'm working with a buyer or whether I'm working with a seller. Again, it's that lender. The lender is going to control really how that works, how the whole process works, either side, no matter what side you're on. And if I have a buyer and Craig, you're my client's lender, I want you to call that seller's agent and say, hey, this person is good to go. We've already got them here or there or whatever.
Right.
And it helps my client possibly win that contract and we can get them in a new house.
Yes. And buyers, this is another important point. if you're working with a lender, and I'm not trying to be too self-serving in saying this, so I mean, there's plenty of good lenders out there, okay? But if you're working with a lender that's asking for documentation from you, maybe they've already given you an approval letter, but they just want some supporting documentation just to have ready in the file. It's to your benefit to get that to the lender, because when we make those phone calls, and look, every lender's different, but I'll tell you my stance on this. I do not lie, okay? If a listing agent asks me, have you seen your client's bank statement? If I have not, I will not say that I have, okay? I'm gonna paint the very best picture I can paint for my clients, always. I will not lie. So I had a deal once that I called the listing agent, and the listing agent said, hey, look, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but our previous contract fell through. Have you seen all the buyer's documents? And I said, no. I said, look, this is a solid buyer, but I have not. I'm not going to lie. I said, but give me 2 minutes. I picked up the phone, called the buyer, and I said, hey, boss, you better give me your stuff because you're about to lose this deal.
And I do this. I do
Yeah.
the same thing. And as a seller's agent, I want to be able to contact you and ask the exact same thing.
Yep.
And you tell me that, yeah, this is what we got. So I can go back to my seller and say, hey, talk to the lender. As long as everything stays like it is today, this deal's solid.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what we want to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, it does make a difference, because you got to keep in mind, some of these properties that you're making offers on, the seller has to sift through 20 contracts, and they are not contract experts. So it does get overwhelming for them. And listen, if there's any little bit of obstacle they feel might be there, gone, right? I'm going to look at the other 19. So
right. And here's the thing: sellers don't know what the contracts say, and we're not taught how to interpret or read or fill out a contract in real estate school, believe it or not. We're taught laws and those kind of things.
Right.
So that whenever you do get your real estate license and you decide on a broker, it's that broker's responsibility now to teach you those contracts, that contract language, and keep up with the changes in that Trek makes in the contracts every year. And that is something else that I do. My broker requires it. You have to read every line of that contract. And if you ask her, what does this mean? She'll say, did you read the contract? Because that's what we're supposed to do. And that's very important. When you say sellers don't know what the contract language is, make sure your agent also knows exactly what that contract language is.
Absolutely.
Because,
it can make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. You'd be surprised.
So, I can tell you this, if I were someone wanting to sell my home right now, Michelle is absolutely somebody that I would want to get in touch with, to talk to about selling my home. Because sellers, I want you to hear this. It's real easy to get a contract right now, but you don't get paid for a contract. You get paid for a closing. You need somebody watching your back. So Michelle, if somebody wants to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
You can email me at michellegeorgerealtor@gmail.com, or you can call me or text me at 615-944-6029.
And what is your marriage counselor rates, by the way?
Oh, you can't afford them.
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, she's just saying that because she knows me. She knows I'm a mess.
Right.
What she's going to say is, I'm going to side with your wife no matter what. So
that's always. I had a wedding yesterday, and I told somebody, I said, okay, men on the left, women on the right. Why? Because women are always right. That's how you know.
There you go. That's awesome. All right. Well, Michelle, thanks for joining us. And if you're somebody that wants to get pre-approved right now, listen, do not listen to the media. This is a great time to buy a home. Okay. So call me. Let's talk about it.
It's on the market.
Yeah, absolutely. 615-498-5626. And I appreciate you watching.
Thanks, Craig.